There was a time when the kingdom of Valdoria did not fear the sky. At dawn, sunlight spilled like molten gold across stone towers and tiled rooftops. Market bells rang with easy laughter. Children ran along the riverbanks, chasing dragonflies beneath willow trees that bowed gently to the breeze. It was a kingdom untouched by shadow, or so it believed. Far beyond the fertile fields and warm hearthfires stood a mountain no one spoke of. Its peak pierced the clouds like a blade forgotten in the heavens. Even in summer, frost clung to its ridges. Even at noon, its slopes seemed starved of light. The elders called it sacred. The brave called it cursed. But no one climbed it, until the rot began. It started quietly. A patch of wheat blackened overnight. A flock of sheep refused to drink from the river. Leaves along the forest's edge turned brittle and gray, crumbling at the slightest touch. Then came the mist. It moved unnaturally, flowing against the wind, curling through tree roots and under doorways. It did not choke the lungs. It choked hope. Whispers followed in its wake. Not words. Not quite. But something that lingered just at the edge of thought, old, patient, and hungry. Within weeks, entire groves had twisted inward upon themselves. Bark split open, revealing veins of faint purple light beneath the wood. Rivers ran cloudy. The sky above the mountain darkened, though no storm gathered. And still the peak remained silent, until the bells began to ring. They rang at midnight, though no hand touched them. They rang without sound. Each soul in Valdoria felt it, a vibration beneath the ribs, like memory calling from a forgotten lifetime. The king summoned his bravest. Warriors hardened by border skirmishes. Rangers who could track a hawk's shadow. Scholars who knew the language of ancient stone. They climbed. The higher they rose, the thinner the world became. Trees shrank to skeletal forms. Snow appeared where no snow should linger. The wind sharpened into something almost deliberate, pressing against them as if testing their resolve. And then the cathedral revealed itself. It was not built. It was carved. Gothic spires erupted from the mountain's face as though the earth itself had grown bones. Windows of fractured crystal shimmered with impossible colors. Blackened stone veins pulsed faintly beneath the surface, like a dying heartbeat. Chains of light sealed the great doors. Not iron, not steel. Script. Living runes that rewrote themselves in endless motion. And before those doors stood a guardian. Armor polished like liquid silver. A blade forged without flaw. A helm that bore no face, only a mirrored surface reflecting whoever dared approach. The first strike shattered the silence. Steel clashed against steel, sparks scattering across frostbitten stone. But the guardian did not move with rage. It moved with precision. Every hesitation was exposed. Every doubt magnified. Within the mirrored helm, each warrior saw not the enemy, but themselves. Fear looked back at them. Regret. Failure. The battle was not against the blade. It was against the reflection. One by one, strength faltered under the weight of unspoken truths. Until one lowered their weapon. Not in surrender. In understanding. The reflection steadied. Scarred. Imperfect. But unafraid. The guardian froze. Its blade dissolved into light. The mirrored helm fractured, releasing a pulse of brilliance that sent the chains unraveling from the cathedral doors. They opened. Inside, silence waited. At the center of the vast chamber hovered a shard of white fire, suspended above an ancient altar etched with symbols older than language. It pulsed softly, like a star fighting exhaustion. Cracks split its surface. From those fractures leaked shadow. Not evil, not chaos. Something older. Something imprisoned. The corruption spreading across Valdoria was not an invasion. It was a leak. The shard was a lock. And the lock was failing. Visions flickered within its light. Kingdoms erased from memory. Oceans turned to glass. Skies torn open by unseen hands. Ages past had bound something beyond comprehension behind this fragile star. Destroying it would end the rot. And unleash what it held. Mending it would require power. Life. Willingness. The cathedral began to tremble. Stones splintered. Snow drifted down from cracked ceilings. The star pulsed faster, its fractures widening as something vast pressed from the other side. Time thinned. Below the mountain, tremors rippled across the kingdom. The choice stood clear. Not between victory and defeat, but between comfort and consequence. A single figure stepped forward. No speeches. No final words. A hand reached into the white fire. Pain surged instantly, not of flame, but of memory stripped bare. Every flaw laid open. Every selfish moment dragged into light. The shard demanded truth, and truth was given. Light exploded outward, filling the cathedral with blinding radiance. Golden veins stitched across the star's fractures, sealing them one by one. The shadows recoiled, dissolving into nothingness as the prison reforged itself. But light consumes fuel. Form began to fade, not burned, transformed. Flesh into brilliance, breath into warmth. A silhouette suspended within the shard, neither living nor dead, bound between worlds as eternal guardian. The final crack sealed with a thunderous echo that rolled through the mountain and into the earth below. Silence followed. The tremors ceased. The mist across Valdoria thinned. Forests straightened. Rivers cleared. Crops lifted their heads toward a sky that slowly brightened. At dawn, sunlight returned to the kingdom. Warriors descended the mountain changed, though the world would never know why. Legends would soften the truth. Songs would distort the sacrifice. But deep within the cathedral of ashen light, a steady glow remained, constant, unwavering. If one stood upon the mountain at night and listened carefully, beneath the whisper of the wind through ancient stone, there was something else. A rhythm, soft, enduring. A heartbeat guarding the boundary between worlds. And as long as it echoed, Valdoria would endure.